Changing your perspective. Sometimes a little change in perspective will change everything. And in it's the least amount of impact, it's kind of fun to do. If you start your day and you say, I'm going to change my perspective on anything and everything and see how I feel. It's kind of like a little game you can play with yourself. And you might learn a great deal from just doing this one little game that you can play in a day or a couple hours, whatever works for you. But I would say take a whole day. And as you're going through your day, look at things that you don't like or you have a negative feeling about or things that you just downright despise. I mean, it doesn't really matter what it is. But I'm talking about negative things, things that make your life less than. But take those things and change, like as you're going through your day, you go to do dishes, you eat breakfast, you did dishes, and you hate doing dishes. Try changing your perspective on doing dishes. Rather than thinking, I hate doing dishes, and just standing there and being, annoyed by the fact that you are having to do the dishes, try to change your perspective to, I love doing dishes. I really like, I don't know, the soap, or I like the warm water, or, change your thought process behind doing the things that you don't enjoy. Try, and it means convincing yourself at that moment while you're doing it that you actually enjoy doing it, that it's actually a pleasurable thing rather than an obstacle to your day or an irritation to your day. If you hate working out, change that to, I love working out. I cannot wait to work out. And just play with it. I would say take at least a day to just try to reset your mind and focus on things that you don't necessarily love about your day. And maybe you'll figure out that you don't even have to do it. I mean, if it's something that you really don't like to do, you may find some other way of getting it done. Or you may find that if you just change your perspective, it gets easier. It gets more simple. It's something that you've picked up or learned. Maybe your mother hated doing dishes and you heard her complain about doing dishes your whole childhood. And maybe you find that you don't really hate doing dishes. Your mother hated doing dishes. You actually kind of enjoy doing dishes. But you won't know if that is the case unless you can change your perspective and look at it in a different way. And just changing your perspective opens up hey, I've never hated doing dishes. It was my mom who hated doing dishes, and I listened to her my whole life talk about how much she hated doing dishes. And all of a sudden, something that you hate, that you end up having to do several times a day, becomes something that you don't hate. Now multiply that by 20 times or 30 times. You take people, okay? Maybe it's your spouse. Maybe you've been married for 20 years. Maybe you hate the way your husband reads the newspaper. Or you hate the way your wife nags. Whatever it is. Whatever the thing that you really get annoyed by, change your perspective on that thing. Look at your husband reading the newspaper, and instead of being annoyed by the way that he is doing it, think about maybe he's not there anymore. Maybe he's gone. Maybe he's not reading the newspaper. And maybe you missed that. And maybe you take something that was irritating and piling up. That's the thing. That's the thing with irritating things. Things that we get in our head that we don't like or annoy us or downright piss us off. They stack up. Like one on top of another one, on top of another one, on top of another one. And if we allow that cycle to continue, before too long, we get up out of bed in the morning and we don't really want to, first of all. We feel like we don't really want to get out of bed. But we start our day with one irritant after another irritant after another irritant. And then lunchtime comes around and we can't quite figure out why we're in such a bad mood. We're in a bad mood because we've done nothing to change our mood. We've done nothing to change our outlook on life. There's a lot of things that I don't like to do. Like right now, I have to go out and I have to water my garden. And I don't love watering my garden. So I have to, and I'll tell you, the reason why I don't like watering my garden is because it all has to be done by hand. And it takes a while to do that. But when my garden is flourishing and things are growing and it's beautiful, and I go out and I see, oh, that brand new zucchini that just grew overnight, or that head of lettuce that is ripe and ready to go, I am thrilled to be watering my garden. I don't feel that right now because it's been very dry. We have gotten almost no rain, and I have grasshoppers everywhere, and they're eating like almost everything that I have planted. They're very destructive. They're very destructive. So when I go in my garden right now, normally I am just feeling blessed and loving my garden. I go out to my garden to water and I am blessed. I'm abundant. I am closer to God. I see the beauty and the miracles in everything in my garden. I see the butterflies and I see the birds, and it's just a beautiful experience. But when you have all these challenges that are coming from nature, or from circumstances that you find yourself in, and the beauty and the greatness isn't there, it becomes a struggle. That pull that you had going out to the garden Like I couldn't last year before, I couldn't wait to get out to the garden to water because I couldn't wait to see what had grown, what had, you know, what had come up. I wanted to see how many raspberries were on the raspberry bush. I wanted to see, if my broccoli got taller or but this year it is all about challenges. And challenges in gardening happen. Challenges in life happen. But it is the perspective that we have while we're doing it. Now, I cannot say that my perspective has made my watering experience any better. It really hasn't. But I do still do it every day. I haven't gotten such an attitude about the misfortunes that I'm experiencing with my garden. I haven't allowed them to get so big that I have just stopped trying at all. So, a change in perspective, my change in perspective for my garden this year is okay, instead of peas, we're going to have a lot of pea seeds for next year. That would be a change of perspective. Okay, we are not going to be abundant eating peas this year because they have all pretty much dried up and they didn't have enough rain and it got too hot too fast, whatever the circumstances are. But the change in perspective is I ran out of pea seeds this year when I planted, but I have plenty now. And I'm looking forward to planting those pea seeds next year. That is how you get over a lot of disappointment, just by changing your perspective. I hate going to the grocery store. I always look for a reason to look forward to go to the grocery store. And that could be something as simple as I'm going to go get some ice cream. But it's a change in perspective. Okay, I don't really want to go to the store and get milk and eggs, but I do want to go to the store and get some ice cream. So I'm going to go get some ice cream. A little change in perspective. And if you can do that with the 20 things that you are grumpy about in your day, you may find that you actually start to enjoy your life all over again. Because you're not focusing on all these things that you find annoying and just distasteful. And when you can learn how to do that, then your partner becomes more interesting and more loving. And you don't pick them apart. And if you can do that with yourself, like instead of looking at your butt and thinking, why is my butt so flat? You can think, hey, I don't have to worry about getting through doors or something. I mean, I don't know what it is. Maybe you have a big butt. Maybe, hey, I have more cushion. When I'm sitting down, it doesn't hurt. Somebody with a flat butt, you can always find a positive. You can always find a positive. And if you can do that with yourself, those are great steps to take to start on a path of self-love. Take the things that you don't like about yourself and turn them into positives. And with practice, doing this, over a period of time, you will figure out that life's not that bad. It's actually kind of cool and it's kind of fun. And a little change in your perspective on what's going on can make a world of difference. And a little tiny perspective on all the things that you complain about in a day will really rock your world. And if you have anybody in your house that complains all the time, have them watch this video. Blessings.